A critical hour of afternoon running is underway here at the Mugello circuit. We've got 1 hour to go. And now we're going to set the running order for Q1 and Q2. Myself and Megan will be with you shortly. We're just prepping for the weekend. So I'll hand over to the TNT team with Gavin Emmett.
A massive Grand Prix. They do their own testing around here. They do it a lot at Misano actually as well. But equally as important for Aprilia as it is for Ducati.
Massive, you know, Aprilia with an Italian rider as well, Bsky leading this morning, so it's a huge Grand Prix, and obviously, you know, Ducati is the favourite. You know, they have the numbers here, and they've been dominating, but Aprilia here, the outsider, you know, the Italian manufacturer has been testing a lot around here, and that bike, theoretically, you know, on paper, should suit that track, you know, very long corners. We know it's about that perform as well, like it just did, you know, back in Silverstone, all those type of tracks like Assen as well. So yeah, pretty, you know, looking good. In my opinion, still, you know, paying the fact that Jorge Martin has not been there since the start of the season, and that's just unfortunate, you know, really unfortunate for that manufacturer and for Jorge Martin as well, because you get the feel that that bike as well this year has made, you know, some steps, and Bsky proved that in Silverstone.
On board we ride with Fabio Di Gianantonio. Might have seen Fabio Quartararo with a different helmet design. Pretty sure that's a How to Train Your Dragon helmet, is that right?
Are you asking me, Gav?
Yes, I'm asking you.
I do not know about How to Train Your Dragon. It is a new upcoming movie, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll defer to you on that one.
Yeah, pretty sure that's...
Are you not watching it? It's brilliant. Really worth the watch.
Here he is, Sylvain's all up on it.
I think there's 1 and 2 already.
I think they've had 3 of the cartoons, but now there's the live action one they're bringing out, and that's what's coming out.
Anyway,
that's what Fabio Quartararo is running. I do like it though, I like the green. I think that all looks good. It ties in with the rest of the Yamaha livery. It has been a winner here in the past, and not far off. He was 6th quickest earlier today. Quartararo was the Nea Bastianini, who was 2nd last year, if you remember. That battle, he had a great battle with, first of all, with Marc Marquez, at the power coming out the final corner, then with Jorge Martin right at the last to take 2nd place from him. There's pit barrier with Hervé Poncharal. A few discussions going on down there in pit lane. KTM have some new rear seat Stegosaurus bits, that's all down there, some new little Ducati style additions.
They ditched a bit the bigger sort of, you know, Ford Fiesta spoiler type of thing that they were. I mean, it looked a bit like, you know, like a boat racer's spoiler. I think that looks a lot better, in my opinion. Well, it looks like it's working as well, because they've decided to adopt it. Now, joking apart, we know that makes a difference. You know, these like what we call the Stegosaurus type of rims. They add a bit of downforce, add a bit of rear contact without compromising too much the top speed. We know that the KTM here is extremely fast. It's one of the really strong points of that bike. You know, the outright power that they can use around this track. And yeah, they've gone for a bit of a different package, different seat unit as well. We've seen this huge, you know, rear sort of salad box in the back at the start of the season that eventually the riders ended up losing, but as in like they stopped using it. But now they've got a bit of a revised one that is something in between. So KTM working well so far this morning.
Here we go then on this long front straight, 1.1 kilometres, just over 0.7 of a mile, a long run out of a fast final corner, 3rd gear through Bacine, down towards San Donato. You get up to, well, so far in this session we're talking 220 miles an hour, and then you're braking down that first corner down to about 45, 50 miles an hour, that kind of thing. It is a huge braking zone down towards turn 1. And then you start climbing up one side of the valley, up through Materassi Borgo San Lorenzo, up and over the top. Oh, Jack Miller's, that turn 1, San Donato, looks like it.
Could be. It's a prime spot to outbrake yourself. I mean, you get there so fast, and you also get there with a slight. You're still leaning the bike a little bit, so very easy to overcook it a little bit. He's in the slipstream as well there, and that does not help to stop. I mean, in MotoGP, you've got that effect. Ooh, this is going to be very close. Oh, that is so close. And I think this is typically what happens when you're in a slipstream. You lose obviously the effect that the wind is is stopping you in the braking zone, and when you're right behind somebody, you find yourself being sucked into that rear wheel, and there's nothing you can do. The front tire is screaming for its life, it's squashing, it's locking, and you got nowhere to go. So we've seen that in the past quite a few times. We've seen some accidents as well in Phillip Island, for example. It happens a lot there, and at high speed like this, where you got corners with massive decelerations, you can see that was a close one.
So they're in the clean air bit behind the reduced resistance there, the wings not having the effect, downforce, all those kinds of things. And yeah, he did well to avoid. I wonder if from that long shot there, it might have looked closer than it was. Doesn't matter, it was still scary, wasn't it?
He would have been on board there, and yeah, that would have raised the heart rate. Yeah, that
Absolutely.
was very, very close.
This is the drop down towards turn one. One thing with the wings, though, is they're a lot more planted over the little jump, as we used to call it, where wheels were leaving the ground, weren't they, at one point?
Yeah, they still do a little bit, but now it's sort of much more controlled. So the bikes are, as you go over that crest, they're a little bit more planted. You can stay pinned as well. I mean, there was a time where you had to roll off a little bit or use the rear brake to really settle the bike. So with the wings, that helps in that respect. The bikes become more planted, a little bit more heavy, but a little bit more stable as well.
Riding on board here with Maverick Vinales. In front we've got Aldeguer, and in front again looks like Marc Marquez, who's about to drag us up through Arrabbiata 2. Blind crest over here, just look at what you can see. Where's the track going? You can't see it. You get over the top and then suddenly you're down into Scarperia. On board now with Marquez. Down to Correntaio, big Ducati grandstand on the outside. Pecco Bagnaia has just improved in third place. Maverick closing in on Aldeguer in front of him. Meanwhile, there's Bastianini with Bezzecchi for company. Bastianini pulls to one side. This is where, if you remember last year, when Marc Marquez's rear on the GP23 was sitting down, and he just couldn't. It was touching, actually rubbing the top of his rear tyre, wasn't it? There
was no more room. Well, it's such a compression. You come out that last turn, and you got it's in third gear as you come out. You click fourth from like near the curb basically, and there is a massive compression there where we could see like tufts of smoke coming out. Obviously the manufacturer is trying to make the most out of the rear height device, trying to lower it as much as possible. We've got Pecco here, looks like he's running the old, he's not running the new Aero, is he? Looks like...
No, he's on the old.
Yeah, he's on the old one. So they're still not quite decided yet. And you said, Michael, this morning, some of them are trying the new one. I think Digi Antonio is with the new one in this session as well.
Yeah, Digi's got it on both bikes this morning. We saw Pecco having one of each, and Marc had two of the original bodywork from the start of the season. So Marc not quite convinced by the new aero body, not tested so far this weekend, but Pecco halfway there and Digi fully committed. So obviously Fabio Digi Antonio had a great session this morning, and it looks quite different when you get a good look at the aero body. Quite a
much bigger diffuser, isn't it?
Yeah, the diffuser's a lot larger and two vanes inside it. Obviously working towards the downwash duct, the ground effect that comes with it. A little bit of a bigger front wing, which may decrease the top speed a little here when you're grabbing a little bit more drag in the run towards turn one for the Ducatis.
Pedro Costa, 1:45.729 from Pedro. So a really solid lap time to start the afternoon. That's race pace record, race lap record.
KTM's going well with Acosta and Vinales. They're both as well using the soft rear, so they're trying to do some mileage on that soft rear to see how the tire degradation is. It's perfect condition. We should get some similar condition over the weekend as well. They're trying to trying to test that tyre, give some data to the team, you know, about tyre pressures, tyre temperatures and so on. They have to control that even for the sprint tomorrow. Short race, but they still have to get everything under control to get the most out of the tyres.
On board with Fabio Quartararo on the Yamaha.
46.1 on the medium rear tyre, quite impressive.
There's been a mix of tyres being used. We've seen the softer option front. We've got the harder option front in there for Mir and Nakagami, who's in for Marini this weekend in factory colours. We've got the soft rear in for the likes of Binder, Costa, and as you said before, trying to get some mileage on it, and then lots of people with the medium rear in. So a real mix across the board of tyres available to them.
Yeah, big mix. And this morning there was a...
And that's up.
That's Quartararo in a big one there. Myself and Megan are in the commentary box.
He
Megan,
does not look comfortable.
that's a big one. We were just talking planning the weekend, and Fabio Quartararo has had a huge accident. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm kind of worried he's broken his arm.
The way he's gone off, that looks like he's down at turn 4. He's up and
Oh
walking
yeah,
away.
he's holding his arm.
Yeah, I wonder if it's collarbone, shoulder, something like
Yeah.
he's dislocated it. This should be a red flag. I don't know why they're playing havoc with it. If we know there's an incident out there, it should be a red flag. Me and Megan were literally just setting up for the weekend. And
Yeah.
me telling her, he's up. That's the great thing. He's walking,
Oh yeah, that
but
arm
he's holding
is,
his arm a little bit. And
That arm ain't
Marshall, do not push his arm if he's done it in.
It's the other one.
As a doctor as well, he wants to clearly see if he's okay. Let's take a look at how far he went in. So he's in green this weekend for Fabio Quartararo with the How to Train Your Dragon. He turns in to turn 4 at Luca, and yeah, straight off. And he barrel rolled as well, Megan.
Yeah, and while he was barrel rolled, his arm was like this in front of him.
So he's fallen off his arm and he's barrel rolled, and he's tweaked his arm. Oh, and then he rolled over on it as well. And immediately you can see he's holding his arm and his shoulder. So I would not be surprised if El Diablo...
I think he's dislocated it.
Yeah, he's dislocated his shoulder. The
Or
way he
pulled
comes
ligament.
up, you're right, with how he's fallen off, it just sort of, straight down.
And he immediately points to it just like this, right here. This is the problem. And they're pressing on it, it's trying to see like whether it's doing okay. And it's kind of hanging slightly limp to his side. He doesn't seem to be in breaking bone type of pain, but he does seem to be in the pain of either a dislocated shoulder or ligament. I'm
Concussion,
thinking ligament.
yeah, left shoulder, but concussion as well.
Yeah.
The way he's sort of dazed when he was walking back around.
Yeah.
Well, he seems to be okay, and he's now pushing the bike back, and he's holding his...
I think he's
he's
holding
still
it.
in pain with that shoulder, isn't he? He's holding on to things. He's doing it normal. The adrenaline will be running through at the moment, not the
Yeah.
full-on...
It's either a ligament or a dislocation, because with a broken bone, he would not be feeling like that. Now, I know personally with ligaments, because of what I did with my ankle,
Yeah.
with my ankle ligament, that you can kind of do stuff on it, it's just you're in immense pain whilst you're doing it. Though with a foot, it's kind of different, because, for example, whenever I put any weight on it, I literally fell to the floor,
Yeah.
because there was nothing really to support me. Though,
Well, he's still waving it back, but he's not moving that...
it's looking
right,
dislocated.
the left arm, he's not moving, is he?
Yeah.
He's moving his right all that long.
It's just kind of letting it, like,
But
swing.
his left, it's sort of just like, it's static still.
It reminds me of my ligament, so it's either
Yeah.
a ligament or dislocation.
Well, me and Megan weren't here because we were going through what she's doing this weekend with her schedule and what she's commentating on. We'll hand back in a second to the World Feed as we take a look at this again. Nice, though, to see you, Sean, that you're still here. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's on entry, and it just goes, bang, straight away down. Let's take a look at the lean angle. 30, 40, 50. It goes at 68. And yeah, not the best there, unfortunately. But Pedro Costa's top of the session right now. Megan will have you for practice 2 and qualifying tomorrow. I'll be commentating, fingers crossed, trackside from Alton Park. If not, Megan has the race.
Oh, you'll be happy to know that Sunday's gone down to like 23 degrees.
That is a big, big relief.
Tomorrow,
as well.
however,
Yeah, well,
sunblock.
well, hopefully it's going to be short weather, sun cream on. I'm already I'm already coming out in.
it might be
red.
cloudy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we've got to get on with some stuff, so we'll hand back to TNT.
And this is what Quartararo wanted here. It sort of crests about here, and then it's downhill towards Casanova Cervelli. Maybe even Alex Marquez will take the shortcut. And there we are, right on cue, and that's what Quattro was hoping to be able to roll down through.
And all that bit is down here. It's actually a lot downhill. Yeah, the images on TV always sort of flatten a little bit the landscape, but it's all downhill.
A few worried faces down there. There's Paolo Pavesio. Just made the announcement, of course, for Toprak Razgatlioglu, who is going to be joining MotoGP next year. But that'll be at the back of his mind at the moment, because his lead man, the man that Yamaha have put all their faith into, a lot of resources. Fortunately, let's hope that he's okay. Now you can see on the right-hand side the new aero package. Look at the front, the sort of step in the top wings. The second row of wings is that bit smaller, and the bottom, the wider part, just opens up really wide, doesn't it? Trying to get a bit of a ground effect. You've got the downwash in there, just that bit wider. Here we go. Dr. Charte's down there still.
It's never a good sign when you hold your arm like that. No, yeah. Yeah, like Michael said, it was just a really awkward way of entering the gravel, and maybe he couldn't get his arm from underneath him. So yeah, let's hope there's nothing too serious there, and that he can recover quickly.
Max Bartolini at the back there with the beard. There's Dr. Charte just heading in from the Chief Medical Officer, of course.
You know, when you got that kind of injury or that kind of pain, taking the suit off, you always think, you gotta take the suit off, you gotta do it quick as well while everything is still warm. It's a lot less painful, but not a nice thing to do.
Here's Marco Bezzecchi, 14 laps on his rear tyre. Looks like he's about to fall down pit lane. Not many riders currently out on track as things stand. Aldeguer and Nakagami have just gone out there. As Max Bartolini smiles on one side of Yamaha. It's tough going. We're going to see it again from on board.
Weird, it sounded like the bike gained some revs a little bit before he lost the front.
The front lock seems to be on, let's see, Valentino Rossi looking on, realising Fabio has hurt the left shoulder. But yeah, I agree, Sylvain, when the deceleration phase is still an area Yamaha need to improve, and he locks the front and he goes to a little bit of angle. Maybe he has it popped back in there by the medical. There we go.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
It is.
I mean, it was Fabio's pointing at it. I'm thinking, no, he could have broken that. And the medical staff straight in with a jab.
I mean, it could have been worse. Could have been stamping it with his foot. But
I thought first of all he's trying to get the air out of the airbag, because that could have been another thing, of the pressure of the airbag in that situation.
I think it's better to get it back in
straight away,
as quick as possible.
Yeah, well, he must have seen that. I don't know what to say.
I've been left speechless, man. My eyes are watering for Fabio.
Remember, Mark used to do it.
Oh, by himself, yeah.
By himself, quite regular.
His was a bit Lethal Weapon, a bit Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon, wasn't it? Like, against, you can imagine him against the door frame, putting it back in, but yeah. That's one for the kids, obviously.
Is that new aero package that we're talking about? We can, is it? Yeah, so you can see those big, massive ground effect. You can see it well with that paintwork of the VR46 bikes. Valentino can see himself on the giant screens.
How did Valle get on last week at Le Mans?
We're leading at one point.
He did so well. He did really, really well. And unfortunately, they got very unlucky. They had I think they hit a rabbit or a hare, and that's what caused the problem. That's what I heard anyway. Anyway, they had to retire with an issue, but they were leading. They were really, really quick. And Valle actually in the qualifying was super quick as well. Like third fastest, including the pros. I mean, that's proper speed.
Impressive.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, he's not working. He's not been lucky at Le Mans, has he, so far? They can see. Look at the wider downwash ducts on the bottom half. The middle part is that much narrower. There's a little step in the front. It's really clear, actually, isn't it, on the VR46 bike?
Through that paintwork.
They are going to change that paintwork for the weekend. There is a collaboration with Italian pop star, rock star Cesare Cremonini, which is the design they're going to have, which looks like another explosion in a fluorescent paint factory. As if that one wasn't bad enough. I'm not a massive fan though, let's be honest. Got to be honest about these things. Sure they don't mind, but yeah, Cesare's a big friend actually of Valentino's and the team. They've hung out together, and I think he's a big star here, and he's performing in Bologna on race day, or on the Saturday night over. So it was a bit like, oh, you're over there, we're over here. Let's just do a little bit of a collaboration. That's what it's about. Gian Antonio down towards Corintao. That's where the long lap loop is, on the outside. Said he feels he's found a direction as well with the front end, having had similar woes to Pecco Bagnaia. He says the front brake thing, that, you know, we talk about the 355 discs and all that. He said it's not that for me anyway. Said for him it's balance. Yeah, he hasn't gone into too much detail about it, but just the change in the balance has made him feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, it's obviously a personal preference that Digi found. Well, his change of weight balance gave him the front end feel he needed, whereas Pecco, with a very different setup, going to those big discs, give him the weight transfer, the bite to be able to load the front tyre and give him the stopping performance he needed. So he felt on the race day in Aragon on Sunday he was grabbing more brake pressure than anyone with the 340s. On Monday he put in the 355s, the big discs. He could modulate his brake pressure, stop the bike better, and give him back that front end feeling. And we've seen this morning a bit of a switch around between the discs for Pecco, whereas yeah, Digi, obviously he's stuck with this aero body. Mark with actually in this session both options available to him on the two bikes, and Digi fully committed to it, so he's happy with the front end feeling he's getting from the new aero package.
This is good news, but we see there Fabio's changed suit and he looks like he's ready to go again. So it might have been just a bit of a dislocation.
Will down there from Alpine Stars, just making sure he's got everything he needs with that set of leathers, and yeah, it looks like we're ready to go again. Wow, well, remarkable if he's going to go back out there. Just slight shoulder dislocation, jabbed back into place by a marshal, and here we go again.
Just punched it back in.
He was sort of biting on a towel at the start of that as he was getting things together. I'm thinking, just send him out with a wooden spoon between his teeth, ready for the rest of this session. Bite down on that, Fabio, you'll be fine. This is medieval stuff. Obviously, Yamaha garage.
The marshal must have had some medical qualifications to do it. Oh, you would have suggested.
I'm sure Fabio's got great Italian. I'm sure it was something from him saying,
yeah, just give it a punch. Put it back in. Been in that position, and mate of mine had dislocated his knee. Oh, Jack is... Where is that? Is that the final turn?
And I'm just going to briefly take over. Jack Miller has crashed at turn 15, which, apart from last week, well, last time out, he's crashed in every single weekend. So this just continues on the cycle. Seems like he had a little bit of a lock-up with the rear wheel, which is why going into turn 15, he dropped it. And it's a very close one with his bike. His bike definitely seems quite roughed up, though the wheel did get quite close to his head. So now there's a yellow flag in Sector 4 because of that, though Jack Miller is all right. And it looks like Fabio Quartararo is heading back out onto the track. As me and Joshua thought, it was a dislocation out of the two things we were considering it to be. So I'm going to hand you back to TNT now.
Fourth director for Yamaha now. Let's have a hear what he had to say about the imminent arrival of the Turk.
Paolo, it's been a busy week for you with some big announcements. First, the news that Toprak will be joining your garages next season, which will delight a lot of fans because it's been talked about, it seems, for many years. It's now finally happening. Why now or why next year? And did you consider perhaps bringing him in when the rules change and the Pirelli tyres come in?
Yeah, of course. First of all, we are happy because, as you said, this is something that many people were looking for, and honestly speaking, we were also looking for since a while. And it's happening now because the things have come together in the right way. I believe we are more ready, most probably, than 2 years ago. I think Toprak has made another step of maturity, has proven that he can really win with multiple motorcycles so far. I'm very happy to see what he's doing also this year. But now is the moment to make the shift, and I think he is willing to do, and there was no reason to wait any longer, because we all know, he also knows that there will be a learning curve, and the sooner you start to learn, the sooner you will explore your full potential. So yes, for sure, next year in 27 there are changes, so next year is the last year of a generation, but that's the moment, and again, there was much more benefit in starting and start the learning curve rather than waiting.
I suppose the next obvious question is who makes way for him? It will be no between Jack or Miguel. When do you think you will make that decision? And is that decision yours, or will it be Pramak's decision?
First of all, this is the sport. We are not happy that somebody has to leave because first of all, we like both Jack and Miguel as persons for the value they are bringing to the team, and unfortunately Miguel started the season with an injury, so he couldn't show his potential. Jack has shown a bit more, but also with some ups and downs. However, we want to give to ourselves and to them a bit more of time and make a decision anyhow normally before the summer break, because this is correct, I think, to properly prepare the season after, also eventually for the one who will not be choosing.
We're also going to be seeing a lot more of Andrea Dovizioso, which is fantastic news, as a test rider, but also as an advisor role for riders. Tell us a bit more about that role, and what does that mean for your other test riders that you have on the books?
Yeah, I think Andrea is a part of an evolution of the way we try to work. And he's always been a special rider in terms of attention to details and interest for engineering and technical stuff. So we found maybe we'll wait a second. We found I think now is better. We found Andrea having the correct skills to be, let me say, a kind of translator of what the rider are feeling on the bike, because he still rides the bike, but also helping the rider to understand which are the information that the engineer are needed. So he's really in between those two functions, the engineers and the rider, to finally help us to improve the track operation when he's at the track. And then there is this experience as a rider, which will help all the development team in his second duty, let's say, as a test rider.
And so Augusto and Cal will still be test riders for you also?
Yeah, so far for this year for sure.
Fantastic. Always great to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. Bye.
So thanks to Nat and Paolo Pavesi. That was just as the session got started, so before everything happened with Fabio Quartararo. But Fabio's first lap out, not too shabby, I have to say, a 46.4 from the Frenchman. Bear in mind, it looks like he's just had a dislocated shoulder put back in quite crudely by one of the stewards. Just while we down talking about Yamaha, talking about Toprak, Mark Marquez himself saying they're good pals, they call each other every now and then, they get on, big fans. He's a big fan of Toprak, and I think one thing that Mark said yesterday was it's great for the sport, and I think it is, isn't it? A new horizon, a new nationality in MotoGP, and someone who comes with a brilliant background and someone who's great for the crowds.
He's an entertainer, isn't he? When you watch him enter his pit box on one wheel, perfect roll and stoppy in there, that boy's got skills. He's an artist on two wheels. Whenever you see him playing on a scooter, on whatever it is, no matter what you put under him, he's got a way of extracting something else from it. He's a special talent, and I can't wait to see him in MotoGP. He will have a tough 2026, I do believe, on Michelin's coming into this paddock, learning the tracks. I hope he surprises me, but I don't think it's going to be an easy transition immediately. But then you get the big shift. You get Pirelli tyres, you get the 850s, you get a V4 Yamaha. He could be on a V4 next season in Pramac livery. We wait for news on that development, but yeah, I think it'll be a V4, and in 2027 on Pirelli tyres. Blank sheet of paper. It's a perfect time, really, but he's got to do some hard yards next year.
Adrenaline's a wonderful thing, isn't it? As Fabio Quartararo just comes through and sets his best lap of the session, a 1:46.0 from him. Everyone down there, Angel Charte, who's the doctor down there, thinking, on earth.
Yeah, on the hard front as well.
Yeah.
So he's just gone out on the hardest available front tyre, having lost the front in a really fast corner. And yeah, obviously the confidence is still there. It's really nice to see that he's not, suffering too much from that crash, because that did not look good. The first images did not look good at all. So yeah, that's a great sign for Fabio. One of the riders making that hard front work as well. That extra stability. If you can do with that little bit less edge grip, but have that stability, especially in those very hot conditions, that would make a big difference for the race. So yeah, for Fabio, straight back in and straight with the good pace as well. It was a new soft free as well for Fabio. Oh, that was close for Acosta there, just taking that little bit too much curve. If you get too greedy in that corner, we've seen it in Moto3 with Pini having a massive crash there. You've got to be careful and change of direction there.
Let's have a look. You can see no wings on the top of his seat for Pedro Acosta there. Was that rear spoiler one of the problems with grip against in corners? Was that rear spoiler creating too much on the rear, perhaps, and creating that spin in a way?
Yeah, too much drag. I mean, you can. Obviously, the extra downforce will help in the braking zone, but then you create that drag. You also, I mean, to make it short, the more aero you put on the bike, the more the bike feels heavy. And we have seen that since the start of the season, where the bikes, the KTMs, sometimes, like in Silverstone, for example, with the really fast corners and change of direction, the bike just look really heavy.
You think
physical.
It wouldn't work around here then?
Well, with the less aero around here, it might make the bike a little bit more nimble, and yeah, it's all a fine balance, in within. Trying to get the best out of the bike, get that stability, get that rear contact in the braking zone, but without compromising the handling and without making the bike too physical. If you look at, well, the image is gone now, but if you look at the front disc and the front end of that Ducati, it's a busy place, isn't it?
I was chatting down in pit lane earlier today with Mark Lloyd down there, and he said, almost can't wait for ride-out devices to go a lot less aero, because it's just hard to work on the bikes. It just creates so much more for the crew to do. I was watching them change, so they're having to change the brake disc from the one rim to another to the heat dissipating rim for Pecco Bagnaia, but then you had the shroud that you had to, a little frame that you had for the shroud on the disc, and it was just one thing after another, and then you got the wing, and then it was like, oh my God. It used to be so much easier.
And the stress on the grid when you got to swap tires, if you change tires on the grid, you need ages, and it's very easy to make a small mistake as well, because there's all obviously the aero appendix, the different sizes of discs, and the discs are normally matched with the pads as well, so you can't just change one, you have to change the other, so you got to swap the calipers. Anyway, it gets very complicated for those guys. They are obviously highly trained, but yeah, a lot going on in the front end of the bikes, especially.
Alex Marquez following Enea Bastianini around the racetrack. A reminder, he's only 32 points down on his brother. We talk about the big, huge margin at the top. He has had such a fantastic start to his season as Alex, and he's still right in the mix. And I think Alex is going to be the barometer this weekend of where Pecco is, where Fabio Di Giannantonio is, maybe with the other manufacturers. I think Alex is your barometer, like your control in your experiment.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any upgrades, really. He's on the GP24 championship winning machine, quality package. It's consistent everywhere he goes, and it will be interesting to see it. I think he is a good reference of where the level is, him and Frankie on the older model, whereas you've got Digi in there with some upgrades. You've got both Mark and Pecco toying with the aero body upgrade.
Mark just exiting pit lane, 25 minutes still to go in this session.
It's good to see the KTMs back in the mix.
Yeah.
That's good. They were strong this morning, and again, looking good with, you know, and when you see like sort of like 2-3 riders like that coming to the front, it means that the bike is clicking, you know, everything is working.
You know, from the team's point of view, there hasn't been a lack of things to really test, have there? They just, you know, they've had the bits and bobs, they've been trying things during the year. It just hasn't quite worked, and it looks like things might have clicked during the Aragon weekend and on into testing, and that can happen sometimes. Even Enea Bastianini there, closer than he's been, 0.8 off, down in 13.
Yeah, that's what happens, you know, with when you got a set of rules that's not really evolved for so many years. The bikes are, you know, they still find improvements, but it becomes harder and harder and harder to find improvements, and sometimes you sort of switch to different solutions, and you don't quite realize that it is actually not a step forward, and then you have to put it back, and then sometimes it's better for one rider. And
look at Ducati this year. And that's the same story.
Exactly what I was going to say with Ducati. You know, you got that 2024 package that is working everywhere, working supremely well for Alex Marquez and the other guys that are on it. And with the 25, is it Mark that's making it look better than it is? You know, it could be. It's difficult to tell. So yeah, they are struggling. You know, you got that new aero package that they're trying to introduce. Well, clearly the riders are not 100% convinced, because they're still going back and forth. They've done the test, and they're still doing the back-to-backs and just wanting to check everything over. So it is difficult, and yeah, probably KTM during the winter maybe didn't make all the right choices, or didn't put the puzzle all back together, and it took them a bit of time to get it back together. So anyway, it's nice to see them competitive around this track today.
What's Dr. Charte saying to Fabio Quartararo here now? Just a few words of advice about it. Come see me later. Strap it up. I don't know. There's some Kiat Chantra at the back of the field. 1.5 seconds off. It's possibly the closest we've seen from some Kiat so far this year.
Yeah, only 3/10 adrift of test rider Takaki Nakagami. Actually, Taka was the lead Honda rider for much of the morning session, just being chased by Johan Zarco, but not quite as fast here this afternoon. But yeah, it's good to see Chandra have a little bit of confidence inspiring in terms of his session and his position. It's not easy coming into MotoGP for a rookie rider, and some cats less experienced than some.
Yeah, no, he's started quite well with him in Buriram, but it's one of his favourite tracks, and obviously his home track as well. Since then, it's been super tough. I'd say Nakagami as a replacement for Marini is doing a great job so far. I mean, this morning he was like 4/10 off the fastest Honda, which was Johan Zarco, and that's impressive. You know, stepping in. Obviously, he's got loads of experience, but you know, when you don't have the race freedom and you don't do all the Grand Prix, that's it's hard to do. You know, we've seen that with Aleix Espargaro doing a few races. It's hard to just come back and have immediately be competitive with these guys, because it's so tight. You know.
Is Digi going to be involved this week? And he's just gone up into second place.
He's good around here.
Does like this place, yeah. I remember him coming in for Grassini, braces on his teeth when we were back in the Moto3 session early days, stuck it on the podium here in his rookie season, and remember him talking to us. Just love coming to their home Grand Prix.
First time attack for Joan Mir, that looks like.
Yeah, he's down in 16th. I was looking at Honda and I was thinking, okay, we've seen the Honda revive, but Mir 16th currently, Zarco 19th, Nakagami 20th, Chandra 21st. So, you know, not all necessarily pointing in the right direction. And then suddenly I look down and there's two red indicators next to Joan Mir's name.
It looks really aggressive on the bike there. It looks very physical with the bike, and he's pushing very hard. You know, picking it up hard. Yeah, you can see the body language there. That's a qualifying, you know, type of demeanor on the bike for Joan Mir.
Does have that new carbon fiber swing arm in that they did test in Aragon. Sounded like it was an improvement all round with edge grip and increased acceleration thanks to that extra grip. Good lap time from Joan Mir, 45.8.
Yeah, up into 6th place. So just losing a little bit in the final sector.
As a time attack, though, that's not going to be enough to
No.
the top 10, I don't think.
No. Manuel Veziano struggles the chin, trying to work out where they need to improve next. They've made so many steps forward this year, but still are going to be a little bit distant. A little pumping from Marc Marquez as he started to line it up. Still on the medium tyres. Behind him, Taka Nakagami goes up into 11th. Apparently will be in as well, or someone will be in anyway, at the next round in Assen.
Yeah, Mourinho said that he wasn't going to be back. I mean, he's had such a massive crash, Mourinho, and big injuries, you know, pelvis, collapsed lungs, collarbone, sternum. I mean, these are like, and that's hitting the wall.
He had a dislocated hip, didn't he? That was one of the other things.
Yeah, so yeah, he's going to need some time to recover from that.
Looked like Fabio Quartararo's having a breather, and as he's done so, the pain's perhaps starting to come. Look, got that ice on his shoulder now.
Well, if he's pulled the ligament, so, you know, sort of like, yeah, done some lesions there, muscle and tendons, that is going to get worse. That normally, when you get that kind of injury, when it's still sort of warmish, still feels kind of okay, but then it gets worse and worse and worse as it cools down. So hopefully not too much damage for Fabio.
On board here with Marc Marquez, as you say, going with the medium tyres still.
He's working on race pace all the time, and he's been doing that since the start of the season. It's one of his strengths, because he's confident. He's not chucking tyres at it. You know, he's keeping the tyres for when it matters, working on his pace, and giving the best. That's the best data that you can give to your engineers. You know, with the used tyres, lap after lap after lap. These are not laps where you just hold your breath, you know, for a couple of laps. You just you do what basically you're going to do during the race, and that allows the engineers to sort of anticipate what's going to happen during the race. And that's an approach that works, but you need to be supremely confident to do that.
Yeah, well, he is, and he just looks smooth, actually, doesn't he, at the moment? He looks smooth, and I'm not going to say slow, but a complete contrast to what you're used to seeing Marc Marquez, the way he's twisting a bike into shape. It looks like it's got a hinge in the middle of it. But he's worked out that to get the best out of the Ducati, you've got to let the bike do its thing.
Yeah, sometimes we see the old...
Well, we saw it, didn't we? Was it Aragon, wasn't it, when he was wrestling?
I love it. I love to see that, but it actually doesn't work on the Ducati. But I love seeing it.
He still took pole, despite the fact he was wrestling it into submission on that lap in Aragon. But in the end, that's not what won the race.
Therefore, was it Bez?
Yeah. Here we go then, we're at the business end of this time practice session. You have just joined us. Fabio Quartararo's had a horrible crash, dislocated shoulder, we think, popped back in by a medic at the corner, and he's gone back out there, currently sits inside the top 10. Hopefully he's going to go back out. I'm not sure he is. There's a bit of a powwow going on. He looks a little bit dazed, doesn't he, down there. Has been out since and improved his lap time.
Looks like he's in pain as
This
well.
is the moment from earlier. We're going to see it once more. Yeah, he's got the earlier leathers on, the green touches on them. So there, his arm got caught underneath him as he hit the gravel.
He would have pulled the ligaments and dislocated it a little bit.
I'm not sure if we're going to see him go out again. I don't know.
The hand signals from Charte suggested stop. That was what I read from it.
No. He's going to go. Of course he is.
It could be an acromion as well, just the collarbone that, you know, that comes out a little bit of its socket. He can still ride with that, but yeah, he's going to get painful and well, he'll have to strap that in. But we'll know more. We're just speculating here, but yeah, he's got some kind of injury.
Oh, Johan, yeah, light it up. That will cost him a little good lap.
Don't want a high side there.
No.
Wow.
Very fast through Bacine, last corner on the circuit, goes up to 12 nonetheless, but probably more there for Zarco after that. Heart in mouth moment for the Frenchman. gaps are tight again, as they were earlier today. Top 10 separated by 0.4 of a second.
Oh, he's going. Yeah, he's going for it. New tyres, shiny tyres. There is not much better feelings for a rider than walking out the box. Well, not when your arm is in pain, but you walk out the box, you know the bike is low in fuel. You can see those shiny, soft tyres, and you're gonna have a go at it. The bike is gonna feel awesome, and you know you're gonna have some fun. Unfortunately, the fun there is gonna be spoiled a bit for Fabio. Yeah, it looks like he's in a lot of discomfort now.
Exactly. He's rolled out of this one.
Yeah,
he was deep at Casanova.
He was nervous looking. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, here, squeezing it.
Yeah, that's as deep as you want to go before you direction change down the hill.
There's a little moment, wasn't there?
This was look,
Vibration.
there.
That's the vibration that
The entrance to watch the rear here as he just gets on the power.
Oh, push the front. Yeah, the rear lost the rear, and then that pushed the front as well. You see that vibration though that he had in corner entry before losing the rear. That's that vibration that it seems like all the Honda riders have, and it seems like it's Johan Zarco that he's the rider that is the best at handling it. He's got some kind of way that he didn't want to talk about actually. What he does to make it better. Obviously, he's not going to give his secrets, but yeah, they've got the vibration as well. The vibration that we talk about sometimes for the KTM as well.
Frankie Morbidelli on a decent lap here. Could he be a dark horse riding at home this weekend?
This session's about to get lively with the number of indicators. We're seeing a lot of reds on the board. Your personal bests, Oliveira right in touch in the Pramac machine.
To the top for Morbidelli. Oliveira up into 5th behind Joan Mir. Joan Mir found time then right at the end of that lap. So he's up into 4th place. Oliveira to 5th, but Morbidelli on top with a 1:45.4 fastest lap of the weekend so far.
It's still a long way away though from the lap record from Jorge Martin last year, 44.5. It's a full second. That's well, almost a full second. That's a lot. And obviously these are proper time attack.
I'm trying to remember.
Bagnaia 45.3 top of the timesheets.
It wasn't as hot as this last year, obviously.
No.
It was still hot, but not quite these temperatures.
Yeah,
you're right, Michael.
We were a couple of
That could
weeks
be the reason.
earlier. Alex Marquez to the line now. He goes 2nd behind Bagnaia. Acosta into 3rd. Rins briefly into 6th. Raul Fernandez in the mix as well. It's suddenly all changed in the top 10. Gian Antonio's been pushed out. So bear in mind he was right up there moments ago. It's Bagnaia, Alex Marquez, Pedro Acosta, Frankie Morbidelli, Marco Bezzecchi has just gone, well, he went 3rd, but now he's in 5th. 6th for Raul Fernandez, 7th for Alex Rins, 8th for Joan Mir, Aldeguer 9th, Oliveira 10th. All those laps have come in the last minute. And suddenly Marc Marquez is down in 12th and out of the top 10. Bagnaia going again.
We're going to get another wave of that though. We've only 11 minutes left, so that was their first soft tyre, and everybody's going to be chucking another one at it.
On board with Pecco Bagnaia, winner here the last 3 years, won the sprints in the last 2 of those. Can he come up with the goods? Has he found a solution to feel more comfortable with the front end of that motorcycle? Looked frustrated this morning, I have to say. So chopping and changing going on. Down through Bacine, final corner for Bagnaia. Has Bezzecchi behind him on the track, who was quickest earlier today. To the line then. He goes top and Bezzecchi takes over from him. 1:45.154 for Marco Bezzecchi on the Aprilia. Bagnaia in 2nd. That will be enough, I would guess, for the both of them to make it through. Here comes Pedro Acosta, being the fastest rider so far in this session, up to the fast laps, and he goes into 3rd. Brad Binder, 16th. Bear in mind, Brad did a really good lap this morning, a 46.2. He's gone 4/10 quicker, but he's well outside the top 10. Marc Marquez, halfway round, 0.2 under. Was 2nd in the sprint here a year ago. did not have the tools to do battle in the main race with the year-old bike. He's a previous winner in all 3 classes, however, in Mugello, just the one in the Premier class. Maverick Vinales went 2nd. Jack Miller just went into 7th place. He's also had a crash earlier in this session. Look at Fabio Quartararo's time, bottom right. But keep an eye on Marc Marquez, first of all. To Pacine corner. Still just under 10 minutes remaining.
Marquez got a little mass damper as well on the right side at the very end of the swing arm as well. So that rear vibration obviously affecting the Ducati as well.
Just clicks into 6th as he crosses the line for Marc Marquez, 1:45.0, should I say. And top of the timesheets for the Spaniard. Of course, for him, an added enticement to do the job on Bagnaya's home territory and do it for Ducati. Fabio Quartararo has definitely got the wooden spoon between his teeth there to go 6th.
Looks in pain though, doesn't he?
Just need to narrow those eyes that he got on the top of his helmet, don't they? Because just to reflect how much pain he must be in his left shoulder. So Jack Miller it is who sits in 10th spot. In front of him, Morbidelli, Di Gianantonio, Alex Marquez. Then it's Quartararo, Acosta, Bagnaia 4th, Vinales 3rd, Bezzecchi 2nd, and then Marc Marquez coming into the pits now on top. Only Ducati outside of the top 10, Fermin Aldeguer in 14th. Nothing to choose. Look at the times. 1 second covering the top 17. In fact, 0.854 covering the top 17. As Nakagami goes up to 18th. He was the only rider on track briefly, and now Rins and Alex Marquez have gone out to join him. Will Quartararo go out again? I'm not surprised either way now. If he sits there, fine. If he goes out again, full credit to him.
What a great effort there. 45.3, P6 so far. It is very tight though, so yeah, that's not him with a guaranteed place. But it did look a lot in pain when it is doing those laps. You know, those sort of qualifying laps with that maximum grip. You have to override the bike, so you have to be physical on the bike, and you do have to spend a lot of energy and use your physicality, you know, to try and extract the best out of the bike. So when you've got an injury like that, it becomes very, very painful and draining.
You know, but almost this is the most important session of the weekend, isn't it? To get through into Q2,
he knows it.
to give you a chance, exactly.
That's why he's doing it. That's why he's gritting his teeth. But he's going again. He's got to. With a new rear.
We've seen, haven't we, people who've had to go through Q1, who've had qualified further down the order. It just changed things. Marco Bezzecchi. You know, you look at him, right up there, had the pace. Didn't make it through Q1 after an early crash there last time out, and suddenly it changed his whole weekend. Had pace, but doesn't matter at that moment. Alex Marquez sets off then. Probably a little bit of traffic. Oh, it should be okay, actually. Most riders exiting the pits now. Does Marc Marquez play a game of chicken here again? He's done it for the last couple of rounds where he hasn't even bothered to use the second of the soft tyres. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch from Marc's point of view.
He probably doesn't need to, you know. He would need, he would need the 10 riders to improve by, 3-4 tenths. So he's probably safe.
Former teammates, Alex Marquez and Alex Rins, came through the system together up into Grand Prix racing, and Rins is following Marquez. As both Alexes come through Pelagio. A slight rise and then a drop down towards Correntino. Marquez going out, looked like a new soft rear in the back of the bike. So with 5 minutes to go, he is feeling like I am going to go again. I'm going to prove a point. Want to end the day on top. Alex Marquez through the third split. Wow, he picked up time through there.
Rins is quick as well.
car can get more than one rider through here. Real bonus for them. To the line then for Alex Marquez. Going to be the fastest lap of the day so far. 1:44.7, rings up into third spot. Marc Marquez, the meat in their sandwich. On board with Pecco Bagnaia now. Down to Corintaio. Another good lap this from Bagnaia.
Been a good session for Pecco Bagnaia. He looks at one with this machine.
Still with the old aero, shall we say, the one they started the season on.
With the smaller disc as well, by the look of it.
Yeah.
Well, the smaller, the standard disc, the 340.
Yeah, which I've seen, there were 340s. A lot of people, a couple of people did try the 355, but the difference between the high and the low mass that people were running on the front. He actually had the low mass compared to Marc with the high mass disc. So, improvements from Bezzecchi, Morbidelli, but Bagnaia crucially takes over at the top from Alex Marquez. And now a yellow flag climbing up the hill there. Quite sure what that might be about.
Sector 1. Could be
Turn
1.
3, is that turn 2 or 3? Luca Poggio Secco. And all those corners are not much runoff, quite tight. Alex Marquez to the line now, not able to get in front. His teammate Fermin Aldeguer might be missing out here on a spot in Q2. Fabio Quartararo, well, give this man some props because he has just gone third quickest. He's going to run deep into turn 1, and that, I'm sure, will be the end of his session. As he rolls it back round. Full credit to Quartararo, heroic effort from him.
What an effort.
His second crash of the weekend, unfortunately. It just goes about. Oh, and Somkat Chantra's down as well. Multiple riders going down the last few minutes of this session.
We've basically a medic on the side of the track punching it.
Chantra's down too.
It was Chantra at turn 12. That was in the sector 3. I still don't know what.
Oh, that's hard.
I was going to say, I still don't know what happened in.
Oh, and he reaches the ball as well.
Yeah. Actually, just noticing as the marshals are going out, the white and red overalls are medically trained, so the one who punched Fabio's shoulder.
He must have seen
He
it
knew what he was
straight
doing.
away, or Fabio telling him, and he actually did brilliant there to do that on the spot, because that's the best time to do it, isn't it? So yeah, but for Fabio there, that was brave, you know, going for those time attack. And like you said, Gav, it's so important this session, you know, to get through Q2 straight away, because Q1 anything can happen, and it's always very, very tight.
And those yellow flags we've just had out there will have helped him. Marc Marquez's lap was cancelled. Others have been cancelled due to yellow flags. So lots of grey indicators suddenly on our timing screens. Jack Miller, I think, came through just ahead of Chantra on his previous lap. But
they're going to get one last lap though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
We do have 3 Yamahas inside the top 10 at the moment.
Digi is outside of the 10, importantly. And A. Bastianini just 11th. Very interesting end to this session, just under a minute remaining. Didger just pulls it round without going into track limits there at the entrance to pit lane. Oh, and he's only gone 10th. He needs to find more time, or he'll be going through Q1. Maverick Vinales to the line. Where's Maverick going to go?
That could be a new lap record.
Oh, here we go now, through the final corner.
Maverick Vinales looking very strong as he comes up towards the line. He's 2 tenths up at the moment. And it is an improvement to 1:44.634. KTM are looking absolutely superb this weekend. They really are going strong. And here comes, we see now, with Marc Marquez. He's down into the 6th position at the moment. The top 10 are Vinales, Bagnaia, Alex Marquez. The checkered flag is out. Marc's going to improve up the order.
Vector soft in, it looks like was a used soft tyre for Mark. Important to bear that in mind at the end of this session when we're looking at things. You're not convinced?
I'm thinking there's more chance that it's a bit of a graphic error. You would work in with a used anyway.
Marc Marquez improves at the end, third quickest for him. I think Fabio Quartararo has done the unthinkable. I think he has sealed his place in Q2. What about Miguel Oliveira? No, he's lost it in the third split, running in 11th.
DG did bump about last time around, and I don't think it's not going to happen. 1.2 off.
Is there anyone else who might replace Digi though? You know, Joan Mir? No, he's lost it. Third split. Those yellow flags have cost people, haven't they? Right in the meat of their tyre. Lap's been taken away. Digi comes across, 10th at best, but I can't see anybody who's going to replace him. It's by the skin of his teeth. Fabio Di Gianantonio mixing through into Q2. Pecco Bagnaia finishes that session ahead of Marc Marquez. One challenge overcome.
I think.
It's good news for us. But I mean, we're gonna get the fact that we've been wanting since the start of the season. But Pecco around here, the record around here is amazing. It does look good on the bar, like you said, Michael, earlier on. You know, it looks smooth and it looks like no fuel. Does that mean? Yeah. Yeah, it does look good. It's his back garden, and his results speak for themselves around here. So, how good would that be to get, you know, a fight, Marc Marquez versus Pecco Bagnaia in red here?
Are you forgetting Maverick Vinales, who's just been fastest in testing last week?
Yeah,
fastest here today on day one,
and he's got a fast KTM as well in the straights as well. You know, to fight against that KTM in the race won't be an easy feat if he's got good pace, because that bike is quick in a straight line.
Yeah, Pedro Costa has clocked in this session a 361.2 kilometres an hour. That is 224.
So we've got our times then. Vinales, Bagnaia, Marc Marquez, Alex Marquez, Quartararo, Bezzecchi, Rins, Acosta, Morbidelli and Di Gianantonio. Well, thanks for your company, everybody. We've got to fly now because we've got a train to catch for the British Touring Car Championship weekend. Join us tomorrow here on JB Motorsports. Bye-bye.